than the one that we had last year. So last year we had all the snow that actually created all these trees here to bend over, and this year they are cleaning up that whole area, and it actually looks really nice. But I just kind of wanted to show you a little bit how different it was from this year compared to last year. We had almost no snow here this whole winter, so we didn't have to come up, late January, early February to remove snow from the roof of the sheds or the camper, because we had no snow. So now I'm going up here, and due to the lack of snow, it's going to get me a huge jump start for my building projects this year. Well, my goal is that I'm going to try to get the oil changed in the lumber mill, and then after that I'm going to try to get 40 2 by 6 by 16 foot logs. So if I can get 40 done, that should be enough for my roofing, my flooring, everything. So hopefully it goes quick. We'll see. I'm gonna also put a new made it up north. So as I was mentioning earlier, I got up here about 7, and the goal for this weekend is to get a bunch of the wood milled up so that way we can get going on this cabin. When I got up here, there was a couple things I didn't like right off the bat. Number one is that when I left, I accidentally left the refrigerator running. So it's been running for the last 3 months now, and I partially cracked the door. So that would also make sense why my electric bill has been a little bit higher up here. The other thing was somehow these straps came off of the cover for the Bobcat, and then because where we had that little solar panel, it wasn't able to trickle charge throughout the whole winter. I did have a little bit of power in there, but there was nowhere near where it needed to get that thing to start, especially when we were in the 30s. So I'm glad I checked that, because otherwise I would have gone to sleep, and then tomorrow morning when I need to go use the Bobcat, well, now the battery would have been dead. So we've got it on. I pulled the battery. I've got this little charger, and hopefully there's enough in there where it takes a charge, because if it doesn't, I can mill pretty much about 3 logs and then my weekend shot, because I'm not moving those logs by hand, and plus the come along is at home. It's sitting in the truck, and I took back his car because it gets better gas mileage. Well, we don't have any snow up here, so I didn't really need to take the truck. So I'm gonna let this thing charge. This was the other toy I picked up. Looks like an ice auger, but it's actually an earth auger. The tip on it's a little bit different. It's kind of hard to tell from that, but either way, that's going to make moving the holes for the A-frame, because I'm going to have to pull all of those 4x4s out and respace them, because they're not where I want them. Good morning. It's now Sunday morning. This is definitely not a bad way to start any day out. Sit down by the river, have a cup of coffee, just listen to birds. And I'm not sure what that was. Well, I know it's kind of hard to tell, but there's a little bit of a fog that's going over the river right now. But once the sun gets a little bit higher up in the sky, well, it's going to burn that off. So, no, I'm going to enjoy my coffee and then get to work. So before I get too carried away with the day, I wanted to come up and take a look at what they did for the erosion for the hill. Neighbor sent me a picture as to kind of what they did, but it doesn't really do it justice. So this is what they did. They came in, wiped all my trees out. So they just took out every single little bit of root structure that they have here on this hill, threw it over the edge, and then they tried putting pilings in to hold everything back. Now, I hope to God this is a temporary fix, because what they did is unless these things go down 30 feet, which they might, but yeah, I'm not happy about this. And on top of that, now you have a huge safety concern here. There's nothing to hold you back anymore. At least before, there were trees that, you know, if you go off the road, now you're not going in the water, but now there is nothing. So I hope to God they're going to do something about this. There we go. That gives you a better idea. So, I mean, I'm happy that they did something, but as you can see, those ones that they tried doing over there on the end, I mean, they're not even straight. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but at least they're doing something. Well, it's about 9:30. Couldn't get the lumber mill started, so I was looking around, didn't see any starting fluid, so I had to run to the balsam store to grab that. And while I was there, I think I also grabbed a replacement spark plug. So I tested it. I do have spark, but I think it's just so cold. So like right now, when I left, it was about 24 degrees, and I've never tried to start the lumber mill when it's that cold and after it's been sitting for months. So figured get a little starting fluid, see if that will work, and kind of go from there. But yeah, definitely not the start of the morning that I wanted, other than my nice cup of coffee. Well, I finally got the lumber mill started. Did not need a new spark plug. The spark plug worked just fine, but yeah, with it being colder out, I gave it a couple shots of ether, and the thing fired right up. So let it run for a little bit so that way the oil can drain. But the downside is that while I was doing that, I disconnected the battery from the battery charger that was running all night and put it back in the Bobcat, and I got like 5 seconds worth of cranking before the battery went out. So needless to say, the Bobcat will be needing a new battery. The downside to that is that that's not something I'm going to buy up here, because they're about $200 up here, where at home they're about $125. So luckily we already stacked some of these over here. So these are the 3 that I'm going to be able to mill. I can try to drag a 4th, but that just might be more of a pain in the butt. So so as I said, this is draining right now. I'll at least be able to get something done, so that way I feel somewhat accomplished. But other than that, I will not be hitting my goal. I might try one more thing if I can get Becca's car back here. I don't know if she's gonna like that, because it could potentially scratch it, so I don't think I'm gonna do that. And because I've got jumper cables, but I just don't feel comfortable driving her car back here where we can scratch the crap out of it, where I don't think she'd be very happy. So but either way, I will be able to find other projects to do. We'll just kind of go from there. So I'm gonna get these milled up. We'll see how many 2x6s I can get, and have at it. All right, so I got all the oil taken out. As you can see, it's a little dark, so I'm definitely glad I'm doing this. But ran into a problem. I thought I had a funnel up here, and that's the only place that you can add oil. Well, you can't really do anything without a funnel, so I came up with a type of a solution. Found a tube that I no longer need, attached it, and then I can dump that right in there. So sometimes out here you got to figure out what will work when you don't have the correct tools, but note to self, get a funnel. or I could keep on using this thing. And either way, now I'm covered, so. Well, I ran into a problem. As you can see, I'm milling my first log. And right there, the lumber mill is actually hitting this log, and I can't move it because it's frozen to the ground. Normally the Bobcat, I would just give it a nudge, but I can't get the Bobcat started. So I'm gonna try a couple things. I've got a nice little maul up here that I can use to hopefully just hit it repetitively and see if I can get all that to unfreeze. But yeah, and the ground's still frozen up here, and that's a problem I was not anticipating. So, man, this weekend just tells me I should not be doing any work. So, all right. So, solve one problem, now I got another. Back to work. All right, just got back from Hibbing. I talked to Becca a little while ago, and she made a very valid point that we should just get this taken care of. So I made the drive to Hibbing, got a 750 cold cranking amp with a 3-year warranty. The one I was gonna get was only 500 cold cranking amps with a 2-year warranty. Now with getting this little bit better battery, I think it costs like 25-30 bucks more, but we should not have any problems going forward. So I'm gonna let this charge for a little while, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the Bobcat and maybe salvage some of this weekend. So, but the point that Becca was getting at, she's like, we've known we've needed battery for 2 years. Now you've limped this thing through, it's not taking a charge at all anymore. So what I would recommend to do is just run to Hibbing, get it taken care of. That way it's done. We don't have to worry about it. And we'll be good for at least, 3-4 years, if not more. So when she made that point, it's kind of hard to argue with it. It's like, yeah, 150 bucks for a battery is not the best way to spend right now, but sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet and get that stuff taken care of. The other thing that Becca wanted me to check on is, since we don't really have any snow up here, the ground is still frozen. We still have ice, but she wanted me to check the raised garden bed to see if anything was coming up, and it doesn't look like it. It also does not look like anything has dug anything up in here. So I'm excited about that. But definitely different. So completely different than every other time that we've come up here at this time of year. Well, either this is underwater or everything is underwater, but kind of getting to enjoy it a little bit more. So it's almost 2 o'clock now, and you can see with these tall pines as to what we are dealing with. So eventually we're gonna go through here, clear out all this little crap, as I've mentioned plenty of times before. So, well, I'm gonna go take a little walk and then try to get that battery installed in the Bobcat, and you never know, I could be back milling. Oh, the new battery has paid off. Got the Bobcat started. First thing I did was move this log, and you can kind of see where the bark was. It was just frozen solid to it. Like it took a little bit of effort, but the Bobcat's going to be able to move that without a problem. In which then I got this one to be moved. So now I will not be hitting that. Or you can even see like it was frozen right there a little bit too. So got all that taken care of, and now I can finally get back to work. Break time's over. Yeah, this weekend is telling me that I should not be doing work. So I finally get the Bobcat going. And not only maybe a minute and a half later, I get this thing fired up. And I broke a blade. So now this is my first time I broke a blade, but keep in mind, this is the second blade that I have actually gone through. So I knew that it was, you know, it was going to need to be replaced or sharpened. But to be fair, there has been some times where I forgot to take the tension off and everything. So, you know, I'm not too worried about it. It doesn't look like it really did any damage. So, but yeah, I got a little bit further along and then all of a sudden, pop! It just made this loud sound. I'm like, uh-oh, that ain't good. So, but yeah, looking at it, there's not really any damage. So I'm just gonna, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna keep on working or if I'm just gonna find a different project and say, screw it. I don't want to deal with it today. So, but with the amount of things that I've had go wrong and then fix, at this point, I'm just gonna count it as the land wants me to enjoy it for a weekend, and I think I'm gonna do that. I know, so what I've already done, I've already got, you know, significant amount of work done for prep. I'd rather have this stuff go wrong now than say if I have Joe come up and then also now we got to worry about Bobcat. Now we got to worry about this. Now we got to worry about that. Now we got to worry about this. So it's kind of, you know, it's your dress rehearsal for the summer or for the spring. So I'll figure it out. I think I'm just gonna go putz with something else. I'm not gonna mess with this anymore this weekend. Oh, I was content with not doing it earlier. Now I'm really content with after everything. It's like, the land does not want me to work, so I'm not going to. I'm gonna enjoy myself, and that's about it. So I will be taking that out of there and going from there. Well, since I blew that blade from the lumber mill, I decided that I've got a bunch of other small little knick-knack stuff here that I can take care of. So one of the times that we were up here, me and Becca, the log splitter just died on us, so we couldn't finish the job. I didn't have any spark plugs or anything like that up here, so I decided that, you know what, I'm going to order some new spark plugs and we're going to go from there. I also ordered a new carburetor because I don't know if it was the carburetor that was bad or what, but either way. So this is the one, kind of hard to, let's see if I can do better. Okay, that's better. So that's the old one. That's the new one. So I'm going to start with that before I even start messing around with the carburetor, because I really don't want to do that today, but if I need to, then I can. So, or it could be something as simple as it was bad gas. So I added some seafoam and some stabilizer in there, so hopefully that helps. But I figured I'd just give this thing a once over. If I can get it started, then I'm also going to do an oil change on it as well. Since I'm here, I've got time now, because the other projects I was going to do, I'm not going to get into. So I'm going to take care of all these small engines and just get all the oil changed and call it good. Well, as you can see, I got it going. I was surging a little bit, and then I really hit the idle up, and then it sounded really good. So I'm hoping that just with the new spark plug and that fuel stabilizer in there, where it kind of breaks down and coats the carburetor a little bit more with the stuff that I got. So we'll see how it does. If worse comes to worse, I do have a brand new carburetor up here. I will also order another spark plug just in case, so that way I don't have to worry about it. And the thing's only like $3-4 bucks, so it's not a huge issue. But no, let it warm up, and now the next thing I'm going to do is drain the oil, do oil change, and then call it good for this machine for today. So I decided to do some oil changes and just maintenance on all the machinery that we've got here. The wood splitter, we got that done. Bobcat, we got that running with a new battery. The lumber mill, as you saw earlier, you know, there was a lot of things that went wrong this weekend, but hey, either way, I'm still fine with that. If these are the hiccups that I'm going to have for the year, I'd rather them be now compared to later. So all I'm doing now is I'm just making some dinner, it'll be an early night. Not just, you know, I'm not tired or anything, but just kind of want to relax and enjoy this nice quiet time. I never really get this, so this has been very, very nice. There's a couple things that I know that I have to get for next time, but in the meantime, I just did a little bit of shooting on the 22, and from there, the rest of the night will just be putzing around. I don't have any other things to do. Well, technically I do, but I'm just not gonna do them. I'm gonna relax. I never get to do that, so. But I've got dinner on. This was originally gonna be the lunch and dinner, but we kind of ran out of time with running around, so. Smells good. At least with that bridge being out, there's not much traffic up here, so that's making it really, really nice. Wood storage is good. I readjusted the trail cam, or the driveway cam. So, got the log splitter back up and running. Did not have to do the carburetor. And now it's just waiting for dinner to be ready. Haven't figured out what time I'm leaving in the morning yet. That'll be a later decision. But if I do decide to head out early, well, now I can just get everything done the night and wake up early, head home. Haven't figured that out yet. Definitely have to clean the camper. So the sun's going down, and just like I started this morning, in the same spot, but just enjoying all of this. Well, it's nice when you can just sit back, relax, not have to worry about a thing. I'm gonna head home in the morning, gotta return to reality and go from there. I'm gonna finish out with a movie tonight and then head to bed. We will see you all in the next one.